get the report. Thank you for asking.
No worries.
Absolutely. So good morning, everybody, and welcome to our weekly industry update. We got a lot to cover today, so we will hop right in. Be sure to ask any questions that you guys may have. And I see our folks coming in actually here. So what I'm going to do is hang on 1 second. I'm going to ask that we actually get the weekly market update on the screen out there, so that we can have everybody participating, because I see some folks out here now. So let's see, hold 1 second. So I don't know if you guys have heard, we actually have the NAR has settled with the commission lawsuit. So they actually have settled. They actually submitted what they are agreeing to. Uh-oh. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry, guys. I've been signed out. Oh, maybe not. Are you guys still with me?
Yes, we're still
We're,
here.
we're here. We listen to you.
Okay, I don't know what just happened. It said that I was signed out. And can you still see my screen with the weekly market update?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, then let me still see if it's being recorded. I don't know what happened. Yep. Let's see if it's still being recorded. I'm sorry, guys, that we're having so many technical issues this morning. I'm hoping I don't lose you. Right, here we go. Okay, we're still recording. I'm sorry about that. All right, let's go. So NAR, we came to an agreement. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later on in the recording, or in the presentation. So just hang tight, because we are going to get to that, and we are going to talk about it in our team meeting, which actually our team meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, tomorrow. Yep, for Tuesday. Okay, so just hang on, and we are going to give you guys more information. All right, so let's hop in. We have got our Los Angeles County trend. Our Los Angeles County trend for this week, we are 5.3% up on for sale properties. So properties that are actually on the market right now, we're actually increased 5.3% over last month, and 12.3% over last year, same time frame in March, and 12.3% overall. So that's a good thing. We've got more properties currently on the market in Los Angeles County, to the tune of 12.3%. Sold properties are up 8.7% over last month, actually down 15.7% compared to last year, same time frame, which, remember, last year in the beginning of the year, we had a lot of volatility in our market. Remember, interest rates had gone up. We had some things going on. So that is why last year, more than likely, sold properties had gone down at this point in the year, because we had such volatility. However, we are up 1.4% as compared to last year. Okay, up 1.4% over last year. Pending properties that are actually in escrow, have gone up 5.6% compared to last month, up 0.9% compared to last year, in March, same time frame, and up 3.2% compared to last year overall. Right. So we actually are seeing, you see this category here, we're all in the green, which is a great sign, right? We're all in the green over last year. So we've got more inventory than last year in Los Angeles County. We've got more properties actually going into escrow, and we've got more properties closing escrow. So that is a good sign in LA County so far in the year. Okay. So good, definitely moving in the right direction. All right, let's look at new listings, because of course, new listings are gonna tell us how many are actually gonna go into escrow and so forth, right? So new listing inventory is actually down 7.4% as compared to last month, down 4.5% compared to last year in March. However, overall, we are actually up 10.2% as compared to last year. Okay, so overall, we're up 10.2% compared to last year. We did have a strong January, February. So that is more than likely how we're up overall. But overall, we're up 10.2%, which is great. So new listing inventory, listings that recently just came on the market, we are up 10.2%. You guys already know the pendants. All right, average active price in LA County is actually down 1.3% compared to last month and down 0.6% compared to last March, into 2023 in March, and down 0.6% compared to last year. So only down a smidge, right? Not even down 1%, but down 0.6%, which is pretty flat. However, the reality is that as compared to other counties, as you're going to see, LA County is trending a little bit downward, and other counties are actually trending upward. So what does that mean to you, and what does that mean to your sellers? It means to your sellers that they have to be more realistic, right? Because property values aren't going through the roof. The average active price is actually a little smidge lower than it was last year. And it also means that you guys, as the agents, we have to be aware in our specific neighborhoods if the properties in your neighborhood are going up or down, if the average active price is actually up or if it's down, as compared to last year. So we got to be hyper local in our information and giving that to our sellers, because in your neighborhood you actually might be up versus down. Okay, so make sure that you're looking at that. The average sold price is up 2.9% as compared to last month, and up 6% over last March in 2023, and up 4.3%. So although sellers are asking less than they did last year, they are getting more than they did last year. Okay, they're actually getting 4.3% more than they were last year. Okay, so that's key to be looking at, is although they're asking for less, they're receiving more. Okay, 4.3%, which is actually very normal. That is a normal market to have appreciation between 4 to 7%. Okay, so that's a good sign. So your sellers are actually getting more than last year. So again, sellers market, we're in a sellers market. As you can see, we have 2.3 months of inventory, which is 7.9% lower than last month. Okay, we were at 2.5 months of inventory last month. We're at 2.3. It's 34.8% higher than last year in March. We were at 1.7 months of inventory last year, extremely low. We're at 2.3. I mean, that's also low, but it's better than 1.7, right? And then we are 8.9% higher than last year. We were at 2.3 months of inventory last year. We're at 2.5 months of inventory overall currently. Okay, so we've got 2.5 months of inventory in Los Angeles County. That puts us in a seller's market. Okay, does anybody know what puts us in a normal market? The months of inventory that puts us in a normal market. Come off mute, shout it out.
It's a 4 months.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the start of putting us in a normal market.
$16.
I'm sorry, did someone say something different? No? Okay. But yes, Everardo, absolutely. Between 4 months starts us in a normal market. Okay. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a little bit more equity in the market. And until we those numbers start growing, we are still in a seller's market. All right. So average days on market. Average days on market, we are 13.2% lower than we were last month. We were at 38 days on market last month. We're at 33 days on market currently. Overall, we are 16.3% down because we were at 43 days on market last year. Now we're at 36 days on market in LA County. Again, this is a number that you have to be hyper local, because I just did a listing presentation of San Diego, so we're not in any of these counties. However, in their specific neighborhood, and we're talking about a mile radius around them, they're at 13 days on market. Okay, so it really depends on your neighborhood, and you've got to be clear about that. They may not be 36 days on market, they may be 45, or they may be like I was, 13 days on market, which means they're going to sell in 2 weeks, right? All right. So sold versus original list price, we are up, 2.1%. We were at 97% of list price last year or last month. We're at 99% of list price currently. 96, we're at 3.1% increase over last year in March. We were at 96% last year in March. We're at 99% currently just in this month. Okay, just in this month. Now, looking overall, we were at 94% at this time of year last year. We're at 97% currently. Okay, so 97% of list price, which means sellers are receiving 97% of what they are asking, what their list price is. Okay, so very good. Almost getting 100%, and currently in the month right now, sellers are getting 99% of their list price, so doing very well. But what that also means is that in your that you have to be hyper local, because some people are probably receiving 102% of their list price, and some people are probably receiving 94% of their list price or 90% of their list price. Okay, so you've got to be able to give your sellers that specific data. All right. And give them and make sure that it's specific to their neighborhood. All right, let's look at Orange County. Orange County, the for sale properties, 6.6% higher than it was last month. All righty, it's 3.4% lower than it was last March, same time frame, and 3.4% lower overall. So for sale properties in Orange County have actually gone down. Remember, in LA County, they had gone up. Orange County for sale properties have actually gone down overall to the tune of 3.4%. So it's not huge difference, right? Just a smidge, but definitely moving in the wrong direction. We want for sale properties to go up, properties that are actually on the market to go up. But Orange County is seeing even less inventory than all of the other counties. Right, so this number actually makes sense to me because they are actually in a serious inventory crisis. Sold properties have actually gone up 8.6% as compared to last month, and down 1.1% compared to last March. However, it's gone first, sold properties have actually gone up 5.9% overall. Okay, so properties that have actually closed escrow in Orange County have actually gone up 5.9%, moving in the right direction. Pending properties have gone up 8.5% compared to last month, 4.8% compared to last year in March, and up 5.1% compared to last year overall. Okay, so actually have gone up. Pending properties that are in escrow in Orange County have actually gone up. So 2 out of the 3 categories have actually gone up. Now, just common sense will tell you if our for sale properties have gone down, that is going to trickle into the pendants and the solds, right? If they've gone down, then our pendants are more than likely going to go down and take a hit, and so are our solds. So we'll be watching this as the month continues. Okay. All right, let's look at new listing inventory. Because if new listing inventory goes up, that's a good sign, right? Because that's going to trickle into our pendants, and that's going to trickle into our for sales, right? So new listing inventory in Orange County has actually gone down compared to last month, 18.2%. It's gone down compared to last year in March, 20.9%. However, overall, it actually has gone up 5.4%. Okay, overall, January to March timeframe, it has actually gone up 5.4%. So that is a good sign. That is definitely a good sign. Okay. And we already talked about our pending inventory. Let's look at the average active price. I'm always fascinated by Orange County because their average active price is normally higher in Orange County. Average active price has gone down 0.2% compared to last month, up 18.5% compared to last year, and up 18.5% overall. So sellers are asking 18.5% higher than they did last year. Okay, as compared to last year, 18.5% higher. Why? More than likely in Orange County, because the inventory is so low. Sellers understand supply and demand, right? They don't have the supply. So if they're on the market, they know that there's a lot of buyer demand pent up and they're going after the one property and they know that they can ask for a higher price, right? So 18.5% higher, whereas in Los Angeles County, we were actually like 0.8% lower, right? All right, so average sold price has gone up 0.3%, not much, not even a full percent, 0.3% higher than it was last month, 13.1% higher than it was last March, same time frame, and up 14.8%. So not only are they asking 18.5% higher than they did last year, they're receiving 14.8% higher. Sold price is 14.8% higher than it was last year. Okay, in Orange County. So sellers are in the driver's seat in Orange County, clearly, and getting a good price for their homes. Okay. Months of inventory. So months of inventory is actually down 17.3% compared to last month. But as you can see, the difference, or 7.3, as you can see, the difference is very small. It's the difference between 1.4 months of inventory and 1.3 months of inventory. Okay. And then there's no change year over year compared to March of last year compared to March of this year. However, there's a 6.2% decrease compared to last year versus this year. So last year we had 1.6 months of inventory and currently we have 1.5 months of inventory. As you can see, as compared to like Los Angeles County, inventory is very scarce in Orange County, which is more than likely one of the bigger reasons why they can demand so much more for their homes. Okay. Because they just don't have a lot of inventory out there. So average days on market, 17.2% lower than it was last month. So we were at 29 days on market last month. We're at 24 days on market currently in the month. Last year in March, we were at 39 days on market. So that's a 38.5% decrease. Currently, we're at 24 days on market. And then last year, we were at 43 days on market and we're currently at 29 days on market. Okay, so less than 30 days on market currently in Orange County, which is definitely aggressive. Sellers are, I'm sure, happy to hear that. And you got to be hyper local so that you know where in the spectrum your particular neighborhood lies, right? All right, so sold properties, sold versus original list price, 2% compared to last month. So last month we're at 98% of list price. Sellers will be happy to hear they're getting 100% of list price currently in the month. And then overall, 95% of list price was happening last year. Currently, 98% of list price, right? So sellers are getting 98% of what they're asking, okay, currently in Orange County. So again, sellers are happy over in Orange County. It's a great seller's market. So you want to be able to share that story with your seller and give them specifics, right? All right. So Riverside County, let's hop into Riverside County. Riverside County for sale properties is actually up 1.1% compared to last month and up 12.2% compared to last year, same time frame in March, and up 12.2% overall. Okay, so for sale properties that are actually on the market right now are up 12.2%. And then sold properties that have actually closed escrow is up 7.1% compared to last month, down 9% compared to last year in March, same time frame, and 1%, very small, but up 1%, still on the upswing overall. So properties that have actually closed escrow in Orange County are actually up 1%. Pending properties that have actually gone into escrow are up 30.3% compared to last month, up 27% overall or compared to last March. same time frame, and up 10.5% overall. So that's such a good sign. So right here, as you can see in Riverside County, all of the arrows are green on the upswing. So that is definitely a good sign that we're moving in the right direction for sales up, solds up, and pendants are up. Let's go to new listing inventory and see what's going on. So new listing inventory is actually down 11.4% compared to last month, down 3.1% compared to last March, and 11% overall. So that's really good. So new listing inventory has gone up overall to the tune of 11% compared to last year, because that's going to move into our pendants and our sold inventory, right? So that's good that we're getting an infusion in Riverside of some new listing inventory. All right, so average active price is actually up 2.9% compared to last month, up 8.6% compared to last March, and up 8.6% overall. So in Riverside County, sellers are asking 8.6% higher than they actually did last year, which is outpacing Los Angeles County, but still under Orange County, right? But they are still asking 8.6% higher prices. And let's look at what they're receiving. So they are receiving average sold price is actually up 1.1% compared to last month, up 11.8% compared to last year in March, and up 11.5% overall. So overall, Riverside County sellers are receiving 11.5% higher value on their home than they did last year. And that's even higher than in LA County, right? But still lower than Orange County. Okay, so they're asking 8.6% higher prices, but they're receiving 11.5% higher than they did last year. So really good outcome for sellers right now in Riverside County. Okay. So if you have any buyers out there, you got to let them know that yes, prices have definitely gone up in Riverside County. Our buyers are actually going out to Riverside County and San Bernardino County. Why? Because the prices are lower, right? And they can get a bigger home for their money out there. However, those prices are going up. So we really have to educate our clients that they need to go ahead and buy out there because prices are going up more than likely because people are flocking there, right? People are migrating to that area because of how much property they can get for their money. So let's look at months of inventory. So months of inventory is actually down 14.5% compared to last month, 20.3% compared to last March, and up 12.5% compared to last year overall. So we were at 2.4 months of inventory last year, and currently we're at 2.7 months of inventory, right? So it actually has gone up 12.5%, and that's good. We need it to go up. As you can see, it's actually higher than in Orange County and in LA County, right? 2.7 months of inventory. So we want to get higher so that we can have more of a normal market. So average days on market has actually gone down 6.5% compared to last month, down 17.3% compared to last year, and last year in March, and down 18.2% overall. We were at 55 days on market last year. We're currently at 45 days on market. So we've gone down 10 days as compared to last year to 45 days on market. But as you can see in Riverside County, properties stay on the market a little bit longer than they do in LA County and Orange County, right? Because it's farther out. So they stay on the market a little bit longer. So price versus original list price, no change over last month. They were getting 97% of list price last month. They're getting 97% of list price currently in the month. And last year in March, sellers were getting 95% of their list price. So a 2.1% change, they're getting 97% of their list price currently. And then overall, the same, they were getting 95% of their list price, currently getting 97% of list price. Sellers are happy with that, right? They love getting close to 100% of their list price. Of course, they want over their list price, right? They want 101%. But most sellers will take 97% of their list price. And as agents, if we're doing our job, more than likely, we can get them 100% of their list price, right? If they're reasonably priced or competitively priced to begin with. All right, let's look at San Bernardino County. San Bernardino County is for sale properties, is actually up 3.9% compared to last month, up 13.2% compared to last year in March, and up 13.2% overall. So that's really good. Our for sale properties, properties that are currently on the market, are up 13.2% overall. Sold properties have gone down 4.9% compared to last month, down 10.9% compared to last March, same time frame, and up 1.9% overall. So properties have actually closed escrow has actually gone up overall. To the tune of 1.9%, not much, right? But still moving in the right direction. So pendant properties are up 14.7% compared to last month. Properties that have actually gone into escrow, and 8% up compared to last March, and 3.4% up overall, which is good. So in San Bernardino County, all of our indicators are moving in the right direction. For sale, pendants, and solds are all moving in the right direction, which is definitely a good sign. And then our new listing inventory has gone down 9.8% compared to last month, 2.1% increase compared to last year in March, and a 13.3% increase overall. So that's great to see new listing inventory going up to the tune of 13.2% in San Bernardino County. Okay. Average active price has gone down 1.5% over compared to last month, and 7.2% compared to last March, and is increased 7.2% overall. So average active price, sellers are asking 7.2% higher in San Bernardino County than they did last year, even above, again, LA County, but definitely below Orange and actually below Riverside, right? I think Riverside was just a smidge higher than that. And then average sold price is actually up 5.6%, and up as compared to last month, up 1.8% over last year in March, and up 3%. So the average sold price has actually gone up. So they are asking 7.2% higher, but receiving 3% higher than they did last year. Okay. So unlike Riverside County, I think in Riverside County, they were actually asking, but they were receiving higher, right? So in San Bernardino County, it's a little bit different. They are asking for higher, 7.2% higher, but they're closing at 3% higher. Okay. And again, that's where you've got to be hyper local to see where your neighborhood what your neighborhood is specifically doing. So let's look at months of inventory. So months of inventory has actually gone up 3.7% compared to last month. We were at 2.7 months of inventory last month. We're at 2.8 months of inventory currently. It's gone up 27.6% higher than it was last March in 2023. And it's gone up 12% overall. So we were at this time of the year, last year we were at 2.5 months of inventory. We are currently at 2.8 months of inventory. All right. Still a very strong seller's market here in San Bernardino County. All right. Average days on market has gone down 13.3% compared to last month, down 30.4% compared to last March, and down 20.4% overall. So we were at 54 days on market last year at this time of the year. We're at 43 days on market currently in San Bernardino County. So again, your sellers need to understand that they are going to be on the market for a month and a half if you're going according to these numbers, right? Sold versus original list price is up 1% compared to last month, up 2.1% compared to last year, same time frame in March, and up 3.2% overall. So sellers are receiving 95% of their list price last year. Currently, they're receiving 98% of their list price. So that's excellent. Again, sellers are happy with getting close to 100% of their list price, currently at 98%. All right. That is it for our data, for our metrics for the week. Any questions? No? All right, let's talk about quickly our upcoming events. We've got a nice calendar for you all this week. I'm going to minimize here, so make sure. Let's see. All right. So let's minimize here, but let's talk about, there we go. Let's talk about what we've got going on this week. I hope everybody had a great St. Patrick's Day yesterday. We've got group coaching today at 12. Tomorrow we have got conversations in real play with Diana Carbajal starting in the morning. That's a class that all of us should be in and should be practicing. We also have that same class. Actually, we normally do it on Thursdays, but we do have broker preview on Thursday. This Thursday, Ramon Sanchez is Learn Trade Secrets at the DAOR, Downey Association of Realtors. I do know Ramon personally. He has been a top producer for years. So he has, and it's not our Ramon. Our Ramon is Ramon Cardenas. Ramon Sanchez has a lot of valuable information to share. So I definitely would advise that you guys be there. We've got tomorrow, if you've paid to be in Pavin's class, tomorrow is the last class for him. And so his class is tomorrow at 11 a.m. So if you have paid to be in his class, then please definitely be there, because he will be teaching his last final class, which is pitch your listing, right? Or, I'm sorry, pitch your proposal. It teaches you how to pitch it to actual investors. Okay, so definitely you want to be in that class. That's the pitch, final class tomorrow. And then tomorrow we also have our all hands meeting. Is it tomorrow? I think it may be, am I getting my days mixed up? I think it may be Wednesday. We have our all hands meeting. And so be on the lookout for that. And we are going to, it is tomorrow. At 3 p.m. So we were going to do our recap of family reunion, and we have some folks. Everardo is one of them, Diana is one of them, myself, to give you guys a recap of what happened at family reunion, some of our best takeaways, and we're actually going to talk a little bit about the buyer broker agreement and what the NAR has agreed to and how that is going to impact us. So tomorrow's team meeting is going to be really important that you attend. Okay. All right. And we do have our tech workshop tomorrow, Tuesday at 6:30 with Eileen Zuniga. She is one of our tech gurus. So definitely you want to be there. It is a hands-on workshop. So you really do need to be in-house. All right. And we also do the same tech workshop with Diana and Martha on Wednesday. Now, Diana and Martha, they do it on Zoom and in-house. However, again, it's always better if you're here in-house with the technology, because most of us can learn it while we actually do it, right? We learn it better while we do it. And of course, we have Dial for Dollars with Ramon on, and it's actually Ramon and now Victor is going to be helping, and that's Thursdays at 5 o'clock. And if you need something to have on in your car, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent podcast is awesome. So if you need something to have on in your car that you can listen to, that is going to give you inspiration, that is going to teach you a few of the top tips from the top agents in our industry, listen to the Millionaire Real Estate Agent podcast. It is awesome. Very inspiring. So that brings me to, and any questions about that before we move on to this?
Brandy,
Nope.
the podcast,
Yes.
how do you get that?
So anywhere that you get your podcast, so if you go to your Apple, you have an iPhone, Lupe?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go to podcast on your iPhone and then type in Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and you will see that this red with this logo here.
Got it. Okay, cool.
And
Believe it or
then
not,
you
I've
can get
actually
it.
never had podcasts on my phone or radio, but
Oh,
I
you
wanted
gotta
to
do
start.
it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Industry news. So you guys may be aware that as of Friday, the NAR entered into a nationwide settlement agreement that would resolve the broker commission lawsuit. And so they've agreed to several new rule changes. And they expect that they're going to be implemented by the middle of July. July 2024. Okay, so the judge is currently deciding if what NAR has proposed is going to be sufficient. So we're waiting on that. And the NAR settlement does not replace the KW settlement. But all of them require court approval, so we are waiting. Again, we're waiting for that. But there are several changes that, as a result of this, these rules that NAR has proposed, and so I want to go over them briefly. What time is it? Yeah, I want to go over them briefly with you guys. Things to keep in mind: this is evolution, not a revolution. Okay, these changes are an evolution to what we're already doing. It is not a revolution that everything is being changed and our industry is going through this. No, it is an evolution of what we're already doing, and something that we've been asking for our agents to do through the years, which is get buyer broker agreement before you take your buyers out, right? But now it is going to be mandatory that you have a buyer broker agreement to even show a property. Okay, so before you show a property, you are going to have buyer broker agreement. And so let me, I'm going to stop my share real quick because I'm going to go over to the actual email so that we can kind of go through it together. All right, here we go. So first thing that, like I mentioned just a minute ago, is that you must have buyer broker agreement. You must have a representation agreement signed before you actually take anyone out, okay, on to see a property. And that is that's mandatory. Okay, so before you can show property listed on the MLS, you must have buyer representation agreement signed. The other thing is that you must, on buyer representation agreement, disclose the amount or rate of compensation that you will receive, okay? And how this will be determined, okay? So that has to be disclosed in your buyer representation agreement. And you guys, we are going to be sending out examples of buyer representation agreements so that you guys can see what it actually should look like. Okay, so this, and your buyer has to sign it. But I know a lot of folks are like, wait a minute, how am I going to know? Well, remember, don't remember, I'm telling you, NAR is actually agreeing to remove from the MLS any notation of buyer compensation, buyer agent compensation. That's being removed. Okay. So basically, you will not know what the seller is willing to pay you. That's going to be up to you to actually negotiate. Okay. So you will have to say in your buyer representation agreement what you are agreeing to, and it cannot be changed. Okay. It cannot be changed. Whatever you have in that buyer representation agreement is how much you will be compensated. All right. So the agent must disclose the amount. The amount of compensation must be set in the agreement, a percentage or a dollar amount. It cannot be open-ended. It cannot say something like whatever the seller is offering to the buyer. Okay, it cannot be open-ended. And agents cannot receive commission for services like from any other source more than the agreed upon amount or rate agreed upon in your buyer representation agreement. So meaning if the builder wants to give an incentive, no more of that, because it wasn't originally in your representation agreement. Okay. If the seller wants to give additional compensation, nope, because it wasn't agreed upon in your original agreement. Whatever it states in your original agreement is exactly what it has to be. Okay. Let me see if I got a question. this include open houses to let people in? Oh, Ralph, great question. Does it include open houses to let people in? No, because you are not representing those folks. This is only if you have a client that you are taking to a property and that you are representing. That makes sense? I'm gonna have to mute you, Everardo. I'm getting feedback, I think. Did you have a question? No? Okay. Let's see. So number 2, offers of cooperation or cooperative compensation cannot be made on the MLS. So we just talked about that. That's going to go away. So there will be no broker compensation field on the MLS. However, the sellers in the regular comments can say that seller is willing to offer compensation or buyer concession. Okay, so that's a way that you as an agent will know that the seller is willing to offer compensation. And how they're proposing that it's being done is that the buyer is going to get a concession. What they choose to use it on is going to be between the buyer and you, obviously, as an agent, but the seller's willing to offer a concession. Now, you've got this agreement with the buyer that you are going to get paid, let's just say 2.5%. When the seller actually offers this concession, and they're going to put it in the public remarks because it's made public that the seller is offering this concession. You see what they're doing. They want everything to be made public. They want everything to be put on the table. And so no secrets about what we are receiving as compensation, because they felt like by it being not public information that it was a secret. And so the buyer now will say, we'll look at the comments and it'll say, okay, the seller's willing to make this concession. And then the buyers can apply that concession to your commission. Okay, that's basically what happens. Okay, now sellers can offer the concession to the buyer in the public comment field, in the MLS listing. However, as a part of negotiation of the purchase contract, seller and buyers can agree to apply the concession to the buyer's agent commission. Okay. And even though it cannot be called a cooperative compensation, the amount of the seller's concession can match the amount the sellers would offer as cooperative compensation as a part of the contract. Okay. So nothing in the NAR settlement prohibits sellers or listing agents from making offers of of compensation to the buyer's agent off the MLS. So the listing agent can talk with the seller and say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, would you like to offer the buyer's agent compensation? And then how much would you like to offer them? That's all done in that negotiation, right? And if the seller says, okay, I'll offer them 2.5, I'll offer them 2%, whatever the case may be. Then as a listing agent, if you created a flyer and sent that out to everyone, you could put on there buyer agent compensation or cooperative compensation to be 2.5% to anyone who brings an offer and is fully, upon fully acceptance, buyer's agent to receive 2.5% in compensation. That can be put in an email, that can be put in a flyer, that can be put on your own website. Okay, meaning on the own broker's website. It just cannot be put on the MLS. Okay, so it can be communicated. It can be communicated through a text. So if you are showing your buyer property, or if you're going to make an offer, guess what? You're going to text the listing agent and say, hey, Mr. Listing Agent, hey, Everardo, I'm about to make an offer on your property. Is your seller offering compensation? How much? Right? And then Everardo will let me know, and then we move forward. And I put that in my offer. Okay. So that is definitely a change. It's definitely a change in the way that we do business. Everardo, you have a question?
Yes. So That's a lot of. So in that case, at that moment, can the buyer representation agreement can be changed? The percentage?
So officially, no, it's not supposed to change. Officially, it is not supposed to change. Meaning if you've already got an agreement that you are gonna accept 2% and they're offering 2.5%, then officially it's not supposed to change. Now, my understanding is that it can go backward, but it can't go forward. Meaning you can say in your representation agreement that you're gonna be paid 3%, but if the seller's only paying 2.5%, you can agree to accept 2.5%.
Okay, so that'll be smart to start with the 3% then, or even
Exactly.
5%, whatever.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. That's my understanding, and we're still getting clarity on this, so we're still talking with our legal folks, and we're still talking with our, even Ed is attending a different class for just understanding this, but yes, that is exactly how we would work around it. Is we would put the maximum, therefore, if it's lower, which we expect it to be, whatever it is in there, we'll be okay with it. Okay? Because it'll be horrible to shoot yourself in the foot and say 2% or 2.5%, and the seller's willing to offer 3, right? Or 2.75, whatever the case may be. All right. Brokers can publish offers of cooperative compensation for their own listings on their own website. So if you guys have listings, KWLS, right? We have a engine right now that can house all of our listings that most of us probably don't use, but our listings can go on KWLS and the compensation can go there. Okay, it just cannot go on the MLS and it can't go on anyone else's website, but it can go on our own website. Okay, so we can publish, if you have your own website, in which we all do, and you can have landing pages, you can put your listing on your website and you can put the compensation there. All right, and so that's a big one. And again, we can put it on a flyer, we can put it on emails, it can go through text. So you can have an agreement with the seller on what they are willing to pay in cooperative compensation to a buyer's agent who brings an offer. However, it just cannot be on the MLS. And it can say in the public comments that the seller is willing to offer, I believe it's not even called a cooperative compensation. It is called, let me see here. Concessions. It's just called concessions. Okay. So buyer's concessions. That's what it's called, buyer's concessions. And that concession can be used toward your commission. Okay. All right. So this means, you guys, we have to get really good at explaining these changes to our buyers in a way that they can understand it. We have to get very good at explaining these changes to our sellers in a way that they can understand it, so that they don't feel, because from a buyer's perspective, right? If they see buyer concessions, what does that normally mean? That normally means they're getting a closing cost credit, right? And now we're going to be saying, well, no, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, that actually can go toward our commission. Right? So we've got to get really good at explaining that to our buyers up front, so that they understand clearly that you see concessions, that it doesn't mean necessarily commissions, but if you're agreeing to pay me 2.5%, then that concession amount can go to cover that. All right. So we've got to get really good at explaining that and explaining our value to buyers so that they will want to pay for that commission. And that's the key. We have to make buyers want to pay for that commission. We have to make buyers eager to pay our commission and to be in business with us. Okay. So agents must disclose commissions. right? So agents must disclose in listing agreements and in buyer representation agreements and pre-closing disclosures, that broker commissions are not set by law and are fully negotiable. So,
Randy, I have a question.
okay, Shelley, what's up?
So you might not know the answer, but I mean, what if we're doing the agreement with the buyer and obviously like they don't have funds, then we don't have to put that they're gonna pay an amount on that agreement. We can have them sign it to show them properties, right?
No, well, if you want to get paid.
Well,
So
Well,
if
okay,
it's-
here, yeah, I understand, but if a seller is offering a commission,
right,
I'm assuming that's how I'm gonna get paid.
not if you didn't put it on the buyer broker agreement.
So I have to know what the seller's paying before I go and show a property?
You have to know what you're willing to accept before you go and show a property.
Okay, so I have a buyer that doesn't have any more funds,
Right.
so what do I do? But I'm
You
hoping,
enter into a buyer broker agreement with that buyer and you tell the buyer that your fee is, let's just say 3%. Okay, and that in the buyer broker agreement, you're gonna let them know that and actually in the buyer broker agreement, I don't believe you can even say this, but typically you're going to explain to them, typically my buyer broker fee is actually covered by the seller.
Mhm.
And you're going to let them know that you are willing to accept whatever the seller concession is. Right? That's what you're going to tell your buyer.
okay,
And-
but but when they sign that, then it's gonna be, they're bound to pay that if the seller doesn't pay, right?
They're not bound to pay anything, Shelley, unless you bind them to it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if they sign it, if I were the buyer and I'd be like, no, I'm not gonna sign that, I'm gonna pay you that. I don't have it.
So in your agreement, you can say buyer may cancel this agreement if amount offered by seller is not, you could come up with some language like that, like buyer is not bound to this agreement, so that you have a disclaimer to your buyer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would definitely want to have that.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be, we're gonna have to get used to like the language that we have to write. And I wonder, just a thought, like if they're gonna try to do away with dual agency, because what if the buyer's like, well, I'm not gonna sign that. I'd rather just go with the listing agent. Why work with you, you know?
Right. And yeah, dual agency, I mean, you say do away with it or
No, I'm saying I wonder if that will be a thing later on, because I know there are states that don't have it anymore.
Yeah, definitely, because they feel like it's a conflict of interest.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know if that will impact dual agency so much, but like I said, I look at it as buyers probably won't buck up against it if you already have it in your agreement that if the seller does not offer concessions, that you will not hold the buyer to the whatever percentage previously agreed upon. Yeah, they probably will not, they'll probably definitely be more willing to sign if you have that disclaimer in your
Right.
stated in your agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome. And again, this is an evolution. It's going to be an evolution of the agreements, and figuring out exactly how this is going to look. But the reality is that we've got to get, again, used to, like Shelley was saying, we've got to get used to, talking with our buyers and talking with our sellers about how this is going to look and how we're going to be paid, and making our buyers comfortable that, again, we're not going to hold them to 2.5% if the seller concession is 2%, right? Or we're not going to hold them to 2 whatever the case may be, that we're willing to negotiate based on what the seller's concession is. Now, are we flying blind by not knowing when we're going out to properties? Yes, we are. But I don't know about you guys, but it has always been my practice that I didn't care what the commission was. If my buyer wanted to see the property, I was taking my buyer to see the property. I can't tell you how many times I've cringed because I saw 1% on a property and I was like, darn it. But this is a good property and I want my buyers to see it. And I would send it over and I would make the appointment. So it's really not any difference to me because I show all the properties that are available.
Randy,
Yes.
let's say, you know, how you mentioned about having a high percentage, just to kind of cover yourself, let's say 5%.
Yeah.
And then the seller the seller is willing to pay the 2.5.
Yes.
Is the buyer, do they have to pay the difference? Or
No.
we can
No.
state that on there?
You can state that on your agreement, as well as just keep in mind, this is only an agreement between you and the buyer. So if you
Mhm.
choose to alter that agreement after the fact, that's between you and the buyer,
Got it. Thank you.
right? If you choose to amend that agreement after the fact and go lower, it's between you and the buyer. I believe what they're concerned about is going higher, not lower. They're concerned about us. They're concerned about us saying, no, you accepted, 2%. Not the 2.5%. That 0.5% should go to the buyer as a concession, as a closing cost credit, because you only accepted 2%. So they're not concerned about us going lower. I'm sorry. Yeah, lower. They're concerned about us going higher. Let's see. The scope of release of liability. So this does not cover people who are not members of the National Association of Realtors. If you are not a member of the National Association of Realtors, then this is not, this does not have anything to do with you. If you currently don't use the MLS, then this currently does not have anything to do with you. Just wanted to put that out there. Again, this is expected to be sent over and to be in play no later than, starting in July 2024 or later. Okay, so we do have some time, you guys. We do have some time to get prepped for this. That gives us, what are we in March, April, May, June, July? So we've got 4 months. We've got 4 months to get our dialogues together on how we're going to present this. We've got 4 months to come up with a buyer broker agreement that we can be proud of, and that makes sense and that doesn't overcomplicate this for the buyers. So that is really what we're working toward. And that's really what we want all of you guys to work toward, is really start sharpening your skills in this area for your compensation, so that you can be one of the ones that is winning in this area, instead of one of the ones that is out here, not knowing what to say, and then losing out on compensation that could have been yours. Okay, so any other questions? We are going to be talking about this. Yes, come on.
So I know it's gonna happen, right? But it still has to be approved by the judge, right?
It does. Absolutely, Shelley. It has to be approved by the judge. Nothing right now is approved by the judge as of right now. This is all what they're proposing. The judge could come back and say, well, let's tweak this, that kind of thing.
Randy, do you know, this is a question that I have, and it might be a dumb question, but I know there's not a dumb question, but why do we have to be a part of NAR if we're a part of CAR and we only do business in California? Do you know?
Good question. Actually, not really. I don't really know.
Okay.
Why is it? Because I don't think it is mandatory. I don't think NAR membership is mandatory. It is something that we have become accustomed to because of the rules and regulations and all of that NAR, because there's rules and regulations at the NAR level, and then there's rules and regulations at the CAR level. But in order to be a realtor, then you have to be at the NAR level, right?
Oh.
If you're just a real estate agent, then you are at the CAR. You can be, you just have a license. But if you want to be considered a realtor, then you have to be an NAR member.
Got it.
So, and I know that, you know, that comes with their, and I'm not impressed, but that comes with their, what do you call that? Their marketing campaigns that you see sparsely on the TV, right?
Mhm.
And it also comes with the legislation. So, you know, NAR does a lot of, does a lot in terms of legislation and with the politics.
Right.
Trying to keep things fair for, not only for realtors, but for buyers, right? And for sellers. And by our dues, we contribute to that. So I know that
Okay.
all comes from NAR.
Gotcha.
Any other questions? Just know, you guys, we're going to be giving you guys much more information as things get more clear. And we're going to be providing you all with dialogues to use, with examples of buyer broker agreements, like I mentioned, to use. I'm expecting that if this goes and is approved, that we're going to have minor changes to our other forms, our other CAR forms, because we have, you know, new requirements. So the listing agreement's going to change, right? Because currently it has compensation on our listing agreement. So if they're taking that away, I know it's probably going to look a little bit different. If in our in our buyer representation agreement, we're going to need to have language in there like we just talked about, for compensation, and then our own disclaimers, right? To let our buyers know that they're not going to be on the hook for 2.5% if that's not what the seller is offering as a concession. So, but definitely, you guys, feel free to ask me questions. Ed, I know we'll be talking about this in the weeks to come, and we're going to have special sessions on it so that we can educate you guys and get you guys fully up and running as it relates to these things. So thank you guys for being on. I appreciate you.
I have a question. I just tried to ask you the referral the last week, but just
Yes,
cannot contact.
Ivan, I called you actually twice yesterday. So let me call you after this and right after this so that we could talk about it. Remember, I needed the area.
Do you get my text message? Do you?
I didn't get a text, but I did get a phone call.
Yeah, but I text you the 2 times, but so probably okay. Can we talk after this the meeting?
Let's talk after this. Norma, did you have a question?
No, I just want to say thank you. I do have a question, but I'll have to think about it, because I was thinking to charge like a flat fee and put it in my contract. My buyer will pay $10,000 and try to get the rest from the listing agent, but I have to figure out, you know, how to address that.
Right. And that's one of the things that they say in the agreement, that you can charge a flat fee or a percentage. And if your flat, let's just say you ask for 10,000, right? If you
Yes.
ask for 10,000 and the seller's concession was paying 2% of the 600,000, so that they were willing to pay 12,000. Well, if your agreement said 10,000, then you would get the 10,000. If your buyer agreed to that, you would get the 10,000, and your buyer would get the 2,000 towards maybe a closing cost credit.
I see. Okay. Sounds
Okay.
good. Thank you, Brandy.
You're welcome. All right, you guys, have a good week, and we'll see you tomorrow at our all hands meeting, at our all partners meeting. All right, see you tomorrow at 3.
So you are
today at 12.
You are referral the New York, the Brooklyn, the agent for me, right? The New York.
Yes, but I'm calling. I'm gonna get off. We're gonna get off of this, and I'm about to call you. Okay.
Okay.
All
But
right.
I talked
Bye
to you.
bye, guys.
Okay, bye.